What was your most shameful sex moment? My housemates and I had a party the year after we graduated college. Lots of people, girls from college. Everyone finding places to crash. I ran into this cute girl I was friends with on the way to my bedroom. I invited her into my bedroom. She hesitated and then came with me. When we got in there I went to kiss her and she stopped me. Told me she had literally just blown my friend. I was grateful for that info. After confirming with her that no one had touched her pussy that evening, I went down on her and fucked her. She is still the only girl I have fucked without ever even kissing. When I had vaginal sex the first time, I wanted to be responsible and put a condom on but got so nervous that my dick deflated. To give a bit of background, my boyfriend is trans and was sexually abused as a child. So him being open for sex was a huge thing, and then me not being able to was pretty embarrassing. But he said it was no problem, and we made a balloon out of the condom and I wrapped it around my foot. Then we had a long cuddling session and then went to sleep. This condom thing happened 3 more times, but I didn't want to enter without a condom. But now it works out mostly. My first time was with a married woman. I was 21 or 22 in college. She was a friend and we flirted a lot but I knew she was married. One day after I hadn't seen her recently she tells me she's separated. We decided to finally hook up. When I ask what we are now, she says friends as she has a kid and is gonna find a way to make it work with her husband. For years I kept it a secret from all my friends because some knew her husband. It was like 5 more years before I had sex again because that really bothered me and I had definitely held sex in too high of a regard. My wife and I were cuddling and she had fallen asleep. In her sleep she was moving around and grinding on me. So I thought we were gonna get frisky. Pulled the PJs down and slid on in. Went to completion and then fixed her clothes back up and went to sleep. She woke up 3 hours later and asked why her vagina hurt and I told her. She doesn't remember any of it and said she thought she was dreaming it. Pretty much raped my wife. She never said that she even went so far as to say I hadn't but couldn't shake that feeling for a while. Her ex-husband had raped her. At the time I hadn't slept with anyone for quite a while, so my dirty talk was, a little rusty. Brought a Tinder date back to my place and we started hooking up. We start off with missionary, and this is a basic transcript of what was said. Me yeah, do you like my dick? Trying to do the sexy voice. You know, like Snake from MTS. Her. I thought she didn't hear me, so I repeated myself. Louder. Me I said do you like my dick? Her. Me never mind. Anyways, I still look back on this memory and cringe from time to time. Got a hand job from a girl when I was 16 at a party, in the bathroom at a friend's house. It was the only private space available at the time. When she took her hand out of my pants it was covered in blood, and basically she'd torn my foreskin. It wasn't painful but it was an oh shit moment while we worked out where the blood was coming from. Anyway, I was really embarrassed, and so was she. From then on, and this might only make sense if you're from the UK, she was known as the Black and Decker Pecker Wrecker. Well, we thought it was funny. I was drinking and talking with some of my ex's friends and one of my friends. I was really drunk and laying on the floor face up. My ex in the middle of me talking steps directly on my chest full weight. I was a lot bigger than her so this wasn't so bad, just seemed disrespectful. She then walked up my chest and onto my face, where she then stepped off my face and dropped her ass on in. While all her friends are just around laughing. Thinking back to that, I really should have known she never loved me. To escape my abusive parents at 18 I dated someone I didn't like and wasn't at all attracted to. He was fat and had horrible hygiene. I would even have to wash him sometimes because whenever he got in the shower he would just stand under the water and then get out so he still smelled bad. Everyone was always telling me how pretty I am and that I could do better but I was so young, dumb, and depressed but I thought they were just being polite. It's been 8 years and I feel like I'll never live it down. First night with a girl I met on a dating app. She had picked me up after her work finished and I'd been out drinking a bit already. We decide to just go straight back to her place. We start vertical, making out and such, and then I decide I'm going to go down on her. We quickly become horizontal and this does not sit well with the alcohol I had already had. I stand up very quickly and say, please do not take this as a comment on what we're doing, and move very quickly to the bathroom to throw up. Well, there I was, cheap hotel room, pack of cigarettes on the nightstand, empty beer cans on the table, balls deep in another man's wife. Mid-thrust, it hit me that I enjoyed the sex more because I knew there was some man waiting for her to come home to their kids. Didn't matter that part of me would be leaking out onto their furniture, or that he was not taking the same advantages of their open marriage. The thought of him waiting for her, while I was the one fucking her, was 90 of the fun. I'm not sure I've had a shameful sex moment. I'm pretty vanilla, and have only been with my husband, hand over mouth. If I had to choose, I'd choose the time we had sex in college and decided to use a condom so he wouldn't have to pull out, and the damn thing broke, so I had to get Plan B the next morning. Back then, it was only available via prescription, so I had to see the campus doctor and explain what happened. I was embarrassed because of how young I was, but shouldn't have been embarrassed. I was having stomach issues. Me and my GF at the time did sex. We were over her place. After we finished, she left the room to go wash up. I was laying on the bed, my stomach was rumbling, and I decided to trust a fart. I started on the sheets. It was pretty embarrassing. I ended up stripping the bed and throwing the sheets out before she got done in the shower. I told her what happened and she never let that one down. She was a good sport about it. Shit happens. I split up with my ex about 9 years ago. After about a month I decided I wanted to go to Thailand. I had one thing on my mind, and that was plowing through as many theaters as I could. The shameful moment came when I was about 10 days into the holiday and I'm hanging out the back doors, balls deep in a lady boy. I'm a straight guy, don't find men attractive. Shamefully I enjoyed it, and wouldn't hesitate to do it again. She was a fucking stunner as well. Probably the last time I had sex with my ex-husband. I knew it was over. I had no interest in him sexually or emotionally anymore. I'd moved on for a long time and accepted the relationship as over. We'd gone out drinking and I figured I'd give him one more night of absolutely insane sex. I'd divided it so he would regret it when I finally left him, or why exactly, but I still feel kinda bad even though it's been years. A friend and I in college got lucky with 2 of the hottest girls in our dorm building and wanted to have a 4-way. Basically us taking turns with each of them. Literally 2 girls I've been dreaming about. Once the moment came and we all were naked and I started with girl 1. I couldn't get it up. Total meltdown under pressure. Worst experience ever sexually. Drove out for a Tinder date. Got catfished. It was her, but she was much heavier and less healthy than in the pics. Mama didn't raise a quitter, so I still started hitting it with intention of turning around and never seeing her again. She coughed in my face and food came out. I went limp instantly, put my pants on, and left without finishing cause that shit was nasty. Was having a vigorous session with GF on her rather poor quality single bed. The motion was too much for the frame and the cheap wooden legs at the head of the bed gave out. This resulted in the front of the bed falling, causing me to headbutt her right in the face as we fell, breaking her nose. Needless to say, this was the end of sexy time for a little while. I'm not sure if this would be considered a sex moment, but this girl and I were having sex and she was squirting all over the place. Pretty hot, first time I've experienced that. We changed the sheets and go to sleep. The next morning I wake up to find out that she peed all over my bed. Funny how it evoked 2 totally different reactions. Got my college girlfriend pregnant, and hoped she would spend the rest of her life with me. I was pretty desperate because of a bad situation I had with another girl and just wanted to be wanted. She was really slutty too, had been with a lot of guys before me. There's way more to the story, but it was just a low point in my life tbh. Me and my friend were experimenting when we were 16. Long story short, he put it inside me and didn't know what he was feeling when finished. Turns out he had a peeing pissed inside of me. When he pulled out, it went all over him. One of the nastiest experiences I've ever had. We still laugh about it privately to this day. I was getting a nice BJ from my wife, when I accidentally thrusted my hip out of the heat of the moment. Right at the same time she went down and I speared the back of her throat. She fought with her acid reflux and ultimately lost as she runs to the bathroom in true projectile geyser fashion. We laugh about it nowadays. I once had sex with this girl and she wanted to finish me with some rough head to show that she could take me all. Puked all over me. I go to shower to clean it off and a girl I knew living about a mile away texts me to come over and I shower and jog over there and have sex with her. Felt funny after that one. I hooked up with a chick who was way more overweight than her profile pics gave light to, and I just didn't have the heart to tell her no when she arrived to do the deed. I felt gross the entire time and ended up busting quick. Honestly, thank God that was fast and didn't just go on forever. 69ing with a woman who squirted a lot directly into my mouth. I knew she was squirted, but I wasn't prepared for it to go in my mouth. I reflexively, immediately and forcefully threw up. Diluted by the mouthful of bodily fluid I had, the vomit went everywhere including onto her pussy. Haha, this was last weekend and doesn't even involve sex. so I managed to impress a lovely young lady at the local bar last weekend who decided she'd like to show me her bedroom. As soon as I lay down I threw up all over her, myself, and the bed. Needless to say she's not called. We were having drunk sex, it was great but I got woozy after the end and when I stood up I puked all over her bedroom floor. She was super nice about it but because I wouldn't stop apologizing, she blocked me lol. I guess you could say I was literally too ashamed of myself lol. I was 14 and with I saying I was 18. This bitch was 36. She would fuck my brains out. She got divorced because she thought we would end up together. I was just using her to teach me to have sex lol and never told her I was 14. I had a lot of facial hair so being 18 added up. Was having sex in a bathroom stall with my co-worker pulled out and came but it went everywhere. We went back to work and when we were in the break room with other co-workers someone pointed out she had something on her neck. We just stared at each other. I think they knew. I stayed the night with one of my college friends. She complained about her boyfriend until we fell asleep. In the middle of the night, I felt her grinding on me. She sucked me off. She's getting married to a new guy soon and we are still friends. I am happy for her. I once had a one-night stand with a woman I was not attracted to at all because she offered to give me a ride home with my bicycle in the trunk of her car. There was no way I was finding a cab that would let me take a bike. It was justified. But I've been a hooker. We had just eaten dinner, going at it hot and heavy when I let out a long, loud, and deadly fart. I gassed myself out of the room, it was so toxic. We darted out into the living room and then burst out laughing so hard there was no way we were having sex after that.